higher challenges in the future than the countries as a whole. 2014, the European Commission introduced a new circular economy package with very high targets in waste management, and the new Commission of Juncker rejected it. And after a very strong discussions, a new, more ambitious package was presented last December. And what are the goals of this package of the European Commission? The European Commission wants to change European waste management systems. The European Commission wants to stimulate the transition towards a circular economy, and it wants to boost competitiveness and foster economic growth and generate jobs. The proposed time for these changes are 15 years, so it's till 2030, and this seems to be far away. The circular economy package is now in discussion. It consists of changes in several European directives, like the Packaging Directive, the Landfill Directive, the Waste Framework Directive. But what are the main hard facts, the main points? So it's about closing the loop, the loop of product life cycles to recycling and reuse. There are clear targets of reduction for waste. It shows the way from landfill and waste incineration to recycling. It requires more producer responsibility, and it fosters separate collection. And it's a really ambitious and long-term path for waste management and recycling. From a scientific point, I agree with these targets, although there are some discussions. Now to the hard facts for cities. And from my point, there are some facts. We have to reach 75% of recycling of packaging waste. We have to reach 65% recycling of municipal waste. Just 10% of all waste will be allowed to be landfilled. 10%. And there will be a landfill ban for separate collected waste. And the creative calculation methods for recycling rates will be harmonized. In other words, no statistical tricks. In some European regions, we had a really dynamic development in waste management in the last 25 years, if we look at technology and organization. But on the other hand, we had also some regions and member states that have not increased their level. So we can see very big differences in the European Union, especially if we look at the cities. And the range is from landfilling quite everything up to effective energy recovery from waste and complex separation systems. We at university we invented a new method to show the dynamic development of regions. And we use the so-called ternary diagram. It shows to show the waste management development, and the corner of this triangles is always 100%. So 100% of landfilling, 100% of incineration, 100% of recycling. And every country, every state can be positioned within this triangle. And the position shows the percentage of landfilling, of incineration, and recycling. Let me show you an example. The average of European Union, you can see here. So read it in this kind. We have 35% of landfilling, we have 25% of incineration, and 40% of recycling of municipal waste. And every member state, every region of the European Union can be allocated in this diagram. And the target of the European Union, of the circular economy package, you can see also here above, it's 65% recycling and practically no landfilling. The next dimension we integrated was the waste volumes. The area of each country is proportional to the waste amount. So we can organize 3 groups of countries. First, this is the target. The first group are the countries mainly based on recycling and incineration, like Scandinavian countries, Benelux, Germany, Austria. Then we have the countries mainly based on landfilling, just a little bit of separate collecting, but landfilling is the leading technology. And then we have the transition countries, like, and these are big ones, like Great Britain, France, Italy. They are on their way from landfilling to incineration and recycling. The next dimension, just a moment. The next dimension we integrated was the time. Please look at the dynamic development of waste management beginning 20 years ago. I will show it to you once more. Just look at it. The first 5 years, we started down here, we started with landfilling, and some of the countries have a very dynamic development, and some are quite above with incineration. So, we can see development in many states, but there are some with no development over 20 years. If we look at the track of the European Union as a whole, we can see a constantly development and constantly dynamic to recycling and incineration. Let's start. Start. So, starting 1990, then we get a phase of quite good dynamics. So you can see we are on the way to this target. We are on the way. The question is, next question is, where is the position of the cities? And we know cities are growing, they are getting more and more representative, or they are more and more representing a country. And I took 11 capitals from capital cities of European Union. The data is from the European study, and I arranged them in our diagram. And here are the results. Example: Amsterdam, Berlin, Brussels, Vienna, Helsinki, Zagreb, on the other side, Bucharest, Lisbon, Prague, Rome, a little bit outstanding Ljubljana. In reality, we have 2 groups, only 2 groups. Incinerating cities with different recycling rates, and landfilling cities with lower or practically no recycling. And all cities, really all cities, are far away from the European target of 65%. And many of them are extremely far away. So there's much work to do, especially for cities, to reach the targets in the next 15 years. So what are the challenges? The challenges, 15 years seems a long time, but it's really short, because you need time for political processes, and you have to build acceptance in your society. You have to find the right technology and have to build the right brands. If you're landfilling, there's no way without incineration. You need it in a combination. We need a combination of recycling and incineration. And you have to build up effective separations collection systems which are accepted by your citizens. And at the end, you have to change your waste streams. And there are great volumes in the cities. So, what are the solutions from a scientific point? Landfilling for mixed municipal waste has to stop. Separate collection has to increase. It must be combined with sorting plants, and you need cooperation with industrial partners who need the secondary raw materials. This is the field of recycling. The municipal waste incinerators, the great incinerators, must be built if you don't have them. If your city is incineration-based, you could plan pre-treatment plants to reduce the burning material and move recyclables to the recycling. And if your technology is MBT, then you may extend your existing plant with new sorting technologies to produce recyclables and also bring it to recycling. So there are some possible strategies to extend your recycling rate. So it's the combination of recycling and incineration. You have to improve the separate collection system, and you have the possibility for upgrading existing MBT plants and the pre-treatment before incineration. So my conclusion, it's a hard challenge to reach the new targets, especially for cities. 15 years is a short time to implement new structures, new plants, new technologies, and better start now. Thank you.
Thanks a lot to give us this larger view and introduction view on the circular economic package and the status of the cities. Now we will have a point of view of